Hello, hello. Welcome back to Matsuribayashi. You know, we don't really have a chapter. Maybe it's like chapter 5. Actually, we can check our save. Yeah, it is chapter 5. Because, like, we did, like, before connecting, it was like, yeah, actual chapters. Dude, look at all this. Hey, we never did that thing that people said would happen where you have to connect the fragments. I don't know. If someone can update me if I just missed it or not. Or actually, I don't know. Maybe you don't. Because if it does pop up, then it's just a spoiler, right? But this time we're going to be diving into Chapter 6. You know, Hanyuu is flesh and blood. Atasata is coming to Hinamizawa, probably. Oishi is also going to be more alerted about the Rika thing, so it's looking good. But, you know, that's the whole point of this world. It's supposed to point as much as we can to Rika's favor. Because Takano, even with all this, still probably has a very strong chance of winning. So let's see how this plays out as we continue. Hopefully some wholesome stuff? Or we should probably get to prepping against Takano too, but some total wholesome stuff? No. Hello, train. Hanyuu has already grown used to being around us. Since Rita-chan and Satoko are her age, she's become especially close with them, so this is Keiichi, POV. Of course, Rena and Mian are looking after her too. Rena told me something the day Hanyuu joined the class. She said that Hanyuu had been close to us for a long time, and that she's been watching us play, that she always wanted to join us. I still can't remember seeing her before, but somehow I can believe it. Hanyuu has accepted all the things that surprised me at first as if she knew about them all along. She knows everything about us, and it seems she's truly excited about finally being able to join in.
羽生もすっかり僕たちの仲間に溶け込みましたのです。
だな。なんだかずっと前からそうだったように感じるよ。そんなはずはないのにな。
そんなことありませんです。ずっと僕たちのそばにいましたですよ。
あれ、リカちゃんもそんなこと言うんだな。レナも言ってたよ。俺だけが気づいてなかったのかな。
I don't blame you, Keiichi.
ケイイチは鈍感だからきっと気づかなかったに違いないのです。
Sorry, we don't have the super perceptive brain Rena has, alright?
ち、どうせ俺は鈍感ですよだ。
Hanyu's still rocking her... Dude, I was thinking we might see a casual Hanyuu, but she's still rocking her stool outfit. That's fine.
リカとケイイチが座り込んでいますのです。疲れましたですか？羽生が疲れ知らずなだけなのです。僕たちは遊びすぎてヘトヘトなのですよ。だって僕はずっとみんなと一緒に遊びたかったから、これくらいでは遊び足りないのです。
Hey, and they're both wearing ribbons. I didn't really recognize Hanyu's smaller ribbon than Rika's. Probably because it blends in a bit more.
もっともっと遊びますですよ。
元気だな。ところで羽生さ、その頭のそれ。
Hey, someone's pointing out there so they didn't see that. I was wondering, like, so people didn't see that, but they're just not pointing out the horns. Hey, I mean, it's Japan, dude. Weird fashion senses, even in the older days before it trended more, you know.
遊んでて落ちちゃわないのか？
That's funny. If people see them, I guess they're just assuming that's some weird hairstyle. It's actually kind of hilarious. Can I touch them? Hanyuu has horns on her head. I thought it was a hair accessory of sorts, so I didn't want her to lose it while playing. So I was trying to offer to hold her for her while she ran around. But Hanyuu's face clouded over, and she apologetically held onto the horns.
ケイイチ、
Come on, Kate. You don't talk about a woman's horns.
羽生のは取れませんのです。
It's a rare disease. The horn disease.
あ、そうなのか？
It's intense role playing.
やっぱり角なんかがあるとおかしいでしょうか。
You know, the correct answer would be yes, it is strange, but even if you have horns, they're still our friend, Hanyuu. That's what I would say if I was a Keiichi, you know? Because it is kind of weird.
おかしくなんかないよ。キュートで
You can't say it's not weird, but you can say, hey, does it even matter?
そうそう。
But, you know, leave it up to these guys to be fully accepting of someone with horns. Kei-chan even has a horn between his legs, don't you know? Though it's hard and curves backwards. What do you mean it curves backwards? Naturally? Rena. Oh, I thought that was Keiichi that hit her for some reason, but it was Rena. What kind of horn is between his legs? What kind? Dude, that was an aggressive Hawu. Can we get a replay?
相変わらずレナさんのパンチ
The
が見
Toko.
切れませんわね。
Hello. God, I love that.
大丈夫ですのミオンさん。顔面がへこんでますわよ。
There's a depression in your face. What does that even mean? Everyone laughed except Hanyuu, who didn't seem to get it. I shouldn't have said anything. I bet she doesn't like to talk about her horns. I feel like is Takano not interested in the new kid with horns on her head? But, or is anyone? But if I try to apologize, I think things will get even more complicated. As I thought about what to say, Rena took the girls over to the shrine date.
気にしなくていいのですよ、ケイチ。羽生も気にしないようにしているのですが、まだ修行が足りないということなのです。
やっぱ気にしてたんだな。すまん。これからは気をつけるぜ。
羽生は大昔にこのひなみ沢にやってきました。
あ、やっぱりそうだったんだ。だよな。村の中のことを転校生にしちゃ随分詳しかったしな。
羽生がひなみ沢に住む前、どこに住んでいたのかはよく知りません。
Are we getting an actual Hanyuu backstory? I asked her once, but all she said that it was a place I wouldn't understand. The multiverse. Or, I mean, I guess it's, Hanyuu does have the ability to go to different fragments, so she is a multiversal being. Hanyuu said that she, or rather Hanyuu's people, couldn't live there anymore. They looked for a new place to live for a long time. They traveled a very long way before arriving in Hinamizawa. There's a beautiful swamp in the area, and that was exactly what Hanyuu's people were looking for. But there's a village nearby where people lived. Oh my god. Oyashiro-sama are actually aliens. Great memes. To show respect to the original inhabitants of an area was a law among wandering people like Hanyuu's. Her clan decided to live peacefully and coexist with the villagers. However, their attempts to coexist didn't go so well. The villagers were too childish and immature to accept these newcomers. They strongly rejected them and caused a terrible, tragic disaster. Hanyuu said she took their form and descended upon this land in order to subdue the disaster. However, she just couldn't hide her horns. The forbidden ancient documents say that Hanyuu descended into the Fude shrine, appearing as she does today. It also states the following. Hanyuu's people can't live anywhere other than this village. They can only live by coexisting with the villagers. The Furude Shrine's priest once rejected them, claiming that coexistence was impossible if mixing with new wandering people's blood caused the villagers to become demons. But the young heir of the Furude Shrine fell in love with Hanyuu, and when... Wait, shit, I skipped. Children? And when their child was born, the priest had to reconsider. Oh man, so Rita literally is a descendant of Hanyuu. Like, literally. Dude, Hanyuu had a child? It's insane. Oops, sorry. Oh, wandering people who cannot hide your horns. If you wish to settle in this land, if you wish to settle with our blood, then I shall consider granting your wish. However, as the demon's blood mixed with the villagers, it had become hard to tell who was human and who was demon. The villagers began to cast suspicion on one another, haunted by that paranoia. Unless all of that was resolved, coexistence would be impossible. For you and us to coexist, we must lay down several laws for us to follow. They will be very strict. I am very, very sorry for imposing these upon you, who have lived in peace until now. However, as long as those rules are followed, the village will be free from demonic disaster. Very well, the rules will be followed. But much blood has already been shed in the village. The anger, sins, and corruption people bear cannot be cleansed. The one law of the human world is that sins are atoned for with life. I see. If you say it's your right to let someone take all the responsibility and bury the sins with him, then we'll do that. However, wouldn't people end up pushing responsibility on each other because nobody wants to die? Exactly. That's the ugly demon in the world of man. No one will accept their own sins, but only foist them onto each other. Since they can only clear the balance with their lives, everyone refuses to pay, and the sins just keep adding up. Without cleansing them, they stagnate, and people cast them upon each other forever, doubting each other and passing them around. So this is obviously going to lead to the Watanashi festival, you know, cleanse the sins. I see. If that is the unopposable law of this world, and you yourselves are troubled by this law, then in exchange for coexisting with us, I shall grant you a world where people do not blame their sins on each other. What kind of world is it? So long as mankind exists, they will commit sins and only give rise to corruption. How could that all be erased without foisting it onto someone else? Let me bear all the sins and corruption born from man, and purify my soul. Let all the sins rest not with man. If they are born upon myself, then man will not need to force them on each other. What are you saying? Are you really going to make yourself into a sacrifice? Someone has to take on the sins, otherwise they won't be cleansed. That's the law of your world, isn't it? A different ancient document also states the following. Of course it's a forbidden one too. Only the head of the Furude Shrine is allowed to read it. Nobody else, not even the other heads of the 3 families. It tells that the unrest grew in people's minds, that the villagers' evil hearts collected in the swamp and gave rise to demons. The Furude Shrine priest explained that the root of all evil is the demon god of the swamp, and led the young villagers there. By the swamp, they found a demon mocking the unrest in people's hearts. The young villagers fought bravely, captured the demon, and dragged it to the Furude Shrine. The priest cleansed the demon god, opened her abdomen, and dragged out her organs. He chopped them up and washed them down the stream. Then he threw the body in the swamp. Then the people regained their sanity. Those who had been suspicious of each other became friendly, and they all shared in the joy of peace again. If these forbidden ancient documents are real, then the object that the villagers worship, Oyashiro-sama, was captured by the villagers, forced to bear all their sins, and been torn to death. It's pretty metal, Hanyuu. She volunteered for it. Plus, it's, well, I don't know if she actually... I mean, I guess she was saying that she was ready to be sacrificed, so... Damn, dude. Plus, it's clearly written that the demons appeared after unrest ruined people's hearts. In other words, the demons were forced to bear the sin of the destroyed that rested with man long before they arrived. Oyashiro-sama was a god who took on the people's sins to mend conflicts between them. People eventually came to honor her, and it said that became the foundation of faith in Oyashiro-sama. I don't understand exactly what that means, but I know of one thing. When none of us humans could draw the losing straw, she offered to draw it in our stead. To prove it, we cleanse our filth by letting Taden absorb it and drift down the stream during the Watanashi festival. There's no shame or shifting or responsibility involved. Until that system was created, we were simply demons who pushed our filth and responsibility on each other. We could only cleanse our own sins by blaming someone else and sacrificing him by cutting open his abdomen. And Hanyuu took on that job. A purification ceremony without a human life. A system that forgives people for their sins. That is the origin of the cult of Oyashiro-sama, which blames not people for their sins, but the curse. Those documents were sealed away. If they weren't, people would find out that the object of their own faith was falsely blamed and killed by their own ancestors. Hanyuu apologizes. She takes in people's sins and keeps apologizing. When people can't deal with their own sins anymore, she accepts them. When Hanyuu takes over, people are cleansed and they are allowed to keep living. Demons take on sins by becoming toxin to absorb them. They are exterminated and washed down the stream, and then the village is forgiven. So I'm wondering, like, why doesn't, like, Hanyuu's apologies work anymore when, like, stopping people from getting terminal symptoms? Or is that, like... Because you kind of assume the parasites are from Hanyuu's race, but, like... I don't know. Maybe we'll just keep on reading and think about it later. If that's so true, then Hanyuu, or rather Oyashiro-sama, is such a tragic existence. I've asked Hanyuu about this before, then she told me the following story. Four people are stuck in a snowy mountain cabin. They play a game where each one sits in four corners. It's a fairly well-known story. It's in the middle of winter. They're all getting sleepy. If they fall asleep, they'll die. So one of them comes up with an idea. They're sitting in the four corners of the room, so someone just has to walk clockwise to the next corner and wake up the person sitting in that corner. The one who just walked will sit in that corner, and the one who just woke up will get up, walk to the next corner, and wake up the person sitting there. If they keep doing that, nobody will fall asleep. People who know the story won't need an explanation, but this doesn't work with four people. When the first person gets up, their corner becomes empty. So after everyone takes turns, the fourth person goes to the next corner, which is an empty one. They sit down and fall asleep, and the game is over right there, so everyone freezes to death. So one of the corners is empty to start with? Or... Because I did it, like, they each keep rotating so no one ever falls asleep. But, like, if there's four people on four corners, I don't see why it wouldn't just loop. Unless, like, you don't start in a corner? Let me look. Each one sits in one of the four corners. Middle of the winter. So it's not. Wait, let me visualize this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 goes to 2. 2 goes to 3. 3 goes to 4. 4 goes to... Okay, I do see. For some reason I couldn't visualize it, but now I understand. Okay. Puzzle. Put that in the puzzle book. You know, just another puzzle for me to have in my mental library to whip out if they ever try to hit me with that again. In other words, you need more than 4 people. You need one more person in order to be saved. People usually tell this as a ghost story. They usually say that this was actually a group of 5 people, but one was already dead, and thanks to that ghost, they were able to continue living until the next morning. Hanyuu once told me that she's like that 5th person. If she can make everything run smoothly by joining a circle of people, then it's very similar to how the telephone game in the mountain cabin manages to function without breaking. Hanyuu can complete a circle that can't be realized by people alone. Then those people can live peacefully. She's an assistant that completes a circle. Is she bothered by her horns because it reminds her of the time when she was called a demon and punished for the sins she took in? Is her subconscious still tormenting her with thoughts that those who have horns ought to be persecuted? Or maybe I got it wrong. Maybe she is accepted to take in the sins, and then after a while, the people just kidnapped her and killed her and sacrificed her by not knowing that she was willingly taking the sins. So it wasn't like she wasn't actually intending to be like ripped apart, but she was ready to like take all the sins and carry it with her. Maybe something like that. But I just kind of assumed that wasn't the case. That the priest was also like involved and he knows about the whole deal, you know. So I thought it was more of a willing thing from Hanyuu. I'm assuming most of this wasn't Rika actually telling Keiichi. She's just telling the part where she just said. You know? Or maybe she did say the whole story. But honestly, Keiichi, I don't blame you, dude. You can't, you know, it's already been talked about how you're insensitive at a lot of times, and you know, it's true, but there's no way I'm gonna blame you for questioning someone who has horns about their horns, you know. It's fair game, I think. Okay, so she didn't, which made sense. She's just a freaking weirdo, dude. Nipa. No, Nipa. Dude, I'm horrible. I can't predict anything anymore. I still think that would have been a good Nipa moment. Nobody knows who Hanyuu really is. Is she really a divine existence that descended from a higher place? Or is she simply an unlucky girl who became a sacrifice just because she had a pair of horns? Nobody knows. But this girl's blood was blended with the Furude family's blood, and that blood has descended into me. Our legend states that if the Furude family has a girl for their firstborn child, for 8 generations in a row, the 8th child will become a reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. But yeah, the fact that they're blood related means they're a lot closer than I thought, which made sense, but I thought it was just more of a, like, the Furude family was Oyashiro's chosen, not that Hanyuu actually had a baby with one of the Furude priests. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm that 8th generation. Is that why I was the only person who did see Hanyuu? 8 generations is a very long time. Maybe that's how long it took for all the sins Hanyuu seemed to be cleared. 8 represents infinity. True. Yeah, rotate it around. It's a very lucky number. I'm more of a 17 guy myself. That's my lucky number. But hey, actually, the digital root of 17 is 8, which is infinity. Haha, 999 teaching me life lessons already. There you go. So I'm basically infinite. Praise me. Often curses uttered will contain. I'll curse you for 7 generations, but the 8th lies beyond that. In other words, 8 possesses such good fortune that it can forgive great curses and sins that span 7 generations. It's a number with power. It's the time Hanyuu needed to cleanse all the sins she took in from the humans. Hanyuu and her people simply wanted to coexist with us. But Hanyuu had become a sacrifice. Her stomach was cut open and its contents washed on the stream. Then she was thrown into the swamp. And so, the Furude family has been waiting. They waited for a very long time for her to come back. They kept our traditions alive, waiting forever and ever for her to return. According to the legend, the name Furude was made by adding a horn to the character fortune teller. Oh, it's cool. Would be cool if I could see it, but I don't know anything about writing, Japanese writing. Kanji. The Furude family rose when Hanyuu's bloodline was combined with that of human beings. Hanyuu is the ancestor of the Furude family, as well as the mother of us all. When I was little, Hanyuu taught me a lot more things than my mother did. That was sort of a cause and effect thing, to be honest, but, Rita wouldn't know that, because we know the mother wanted to teach Rita a lot of things, but it just didn't work out that way. Poor Beatrice. I'm her descendant. The curse on the clan who exorcised and buried their own mother was finally absolved after 8 generations, what seemed like eternity. And then she met me, her descendants, the final generation of the Furude family. Sometimes when I think about that, I feel like there must be some important meaning to this hapless fate thrust upon me. But what kind of meaning could the trial I face, the trial of breaking through the obstacles sealing my fate, have upon the curse that plagued Hanyuu and the Furude family for over a millennium? 1,000 years is simply too long of a period to communicate thoughts and intentions correctly. Hanyuu had become the curse we call Oyashiro-sama. Though she was originally a means of salvation, she has become a chain that binds people. True. That's actually a pretty cool line. Because literally. The rules about coexisting were misinterpreted as a law that binds villagers to this place, and that continued until the Meiji era. And while the village winds once again blows toward the misunderstanding of isolation thanks to the dam conflict, how does that play into my meeting with Hanyuu and this motley field we're trapped in? I haven't lived long enough to be able to understand that. The only thing I can say for sure is that the Furude family originated when Hanyuu's bloodline mixed with that of humans, and the line's final descendant, me, finally met with its ancestor. The Furude bloodline bears a cursed history of placing all of man's sins onto its mother and killing her. Now the beginning and the end of that line have met. Hanyuu always wanted to join everyone. Yet she couldn't hide her horns. Even so, she still wished to be an existence that completes the circle. Bam. It's a child's job to bury their parents. But mother, I've never heard of her that it's a child's job to kill and bury their parents. True. Don't ask, child. I'm not human. My horns are proof that I'm a demon. A demon's job is to take on the calamities of the human world. That's dude, Hanyu's spitting out some poetic shit, and I love it. Just imagine it with Hanyu's current voice right now, too, for the extra flavor. Bearing the calamities of this chaotic world and cleansing the unrest in mankind's heart is my role. Then, Mother, why do you have to be the one? People's sins are people's sins. They aren't yours. Listen, child. People live with their sins, Nanodasu. They can't live without making someone else take the blame. Nobody wants to take the blame, so they shift that responsibility around. That is a demon, the true demon disrupting the world of man. By bearing it myself, man may be cleansed, and mankind can be freed from the destiny of doubt and conflict. Let all the sins, the filth, the karma, and the curse come to me. Then attack me, purify me, wash me down the stream, and throw me in the swamp. A human will not do. So it is the fate of one not human to accept that role. If a human were made to bear it, then mankind wouldn't be freed from the demon of doubt. I don't understand. I don't understand, Mother. Mother, you have horns. Are you saying that you aren't human just because you have horns? That even if you are human, the horns make you non-human? Even if you have horns, you're human to me. My child, you're the only one who's ever said that. Even if everyone calls me etetet or etetet, you'll still call me human. What is passed down in the Fude families, Fude's many forbidden scrolls, the ones unknown to even the heads of the three families sealed in the altar and the shrine storage. Understanding that would probably require about as much time as is spent repeating time. Yet once you understand that, you'll better understand the smile Hanyuu wears as she innocently plays with everyone. Perhaps you'll be okay. Dude, there you go. A nice history of Hanyuu / Oyashiro-sama. Mion, did you kill Hanyuu by accident? What a twist. After all that, she just dies because Mion tripped her and she fell off a ledge. I heard Mion yell in surprise. Something must have happened. Oh. Oh god. Actually true. Mion actually did it, huh? Hanyuu had been playing on the slope and tumbled down it. There's a road just below the slope. Mion and the others went down the stairs together. Let's go. I hope she isn't injured. Oh boy, it's the best couple in the series. When I got there, I saw Tomodachi and Takano-san. They were taking care of her. What's up? That'll win you a photography award. Horned girl. We still haven't gotten confirmation that Rika knows about Takano. I mean, I'm like a billion% sure Hanyuu knows, but we don't know. We haven't got hard confirmation, so we might get it now. It's terminal, I'm sorry. She sounded disoriented, but it didn't appear to be injured. What a relief for everyone. I bet she's just feeling dizzy from rolling.
かったね。怪我がなくて。
いやはや。しかし転がってった先に看護師さんがいてくれたなんてできすぎだね。
Just waiting for the weird tension. Even without it, I'm already kind of tense.
あら、非番の時の私は野鳥撮影家なのよ。ねえ、次郎さん。
まあね、そういうことさ。
We never did get the start of their actual like boyfriend-girlfriend relationship in the fragments, which kind of made me sad. Did get a couple wholesome ones though with them.
まあひなみ沢っ子ならこのくらいで怪我はできねえよな。羽生ももう立派なひなみ沢の仲間ってことだぜ。
羽生ちゃんっていうの？見かけない子ね。新しいお友達？
Uh-oh.
そうです。
They're not showing the sprite to sprite. It's spooking me. Run away, Satoko.
月曜日に転校してきたばかりなんですのよ。
これ何？
Yeah?
変わってるわね。
Is that it?
おもちゃ？
Tatsuno tried to poke at one of Hanyu's horns. They'd be an interesting hair accessory if they were an accessory.
それは羽生ちゃんのチャームポイントなので取っちゃダメなんです。
あら、そうなの？私はあまり可愛くないと思うんだけど。
Good one. True. I don't know. Do you guys think horns are cute? I think in general. Not really. I feel like they look cuter in anime. They're probably like spookier IRL. I don't know. But Hanyuu is pretty adorable, so.
だってほら。
Like the demon. Okay. But you know, you gotta love Tatsuno's jabs.
化け物。
Monster.
みたいじゃない？
Good one, dude. Suddenly, Hanyuu moaned as if suffocating.
高野、羽生は化け物じゃありませんです。二度と言ったら許さないのです。
そうだよ高野さん。人の趣味に悪いよ。
We call those it's the classical Tatsuno sucker punch.
ごめんなさいね。決してそんなつもりはなかったんだけど。
Rika-chan said it rather firmly. I'm sure Hanyuu doesn't want to hear that word. Sometimes Tatsuno says things in a derogatory way without realizing it herself. But I guess there are things you can't or shouldn't say. Hanyuu was looking at Tatsuno-san with a complicated look on her face. After seeing that expression, Tatsuno-san realized she might have hurt her feelings. She apologized and left with Tomodachi-san. Well, that wasn't too bad. Thought that might have went worse.
羽生、
Though Hanyuu's taking it hard.
綺麗に転げ落ちたから大して怪我はないそうです。リカ、今の人。
Oh, did she just realize it now?
今の人、高野ですよ。
Okay, so they didn't fully... Both of them didn't fully realize it. I thought Hanyuu might have, but...
高野。
Hanyuu repeated Tatsuno-san's name. All of a sudden, I grew worried that she hit her head or something. Oh, she did. Hanyuu stood straight up and grabbed Rika-chan's collar.
リカ。高野です。高野。そうですよ。高野ですよ。違う、リカ。高野です。高野。 覚えてないのですか？知ってるわよ。高野美代でしょ。入江診療所の。思い出せないのですか？ごめん、羽生。何の話？
So her efforts at the end didn't translate into remembering, huh?
リカ、そんな。
This is the last one. The last one. She finally imprinted herself with the true enemy's name, while enduring the pain of her stomach being cut open. And yet she can't remember. Rika Fure has failed to inherit the memory of the fragments. Uh-oh. Well, luckily we have some miracles on our side, like Atasaka coming regardless, so... that definitely complicates things. But like, how hard? Like, I don't want to make things sound a little more basic than they are, but oh, we gotta save this for that next time. But I don't know why Hanyuu just can't tell Rita that Takano is the one who killed her, and she remembers. I feel like that's not a horrible option, but maybe I'm oversimplifying things. She definitely does lose the inherited feelings of what she saw in the last fragment, plus any bonus stuff. Plus, she said inherited from the fragment, so there's probably a bunch more information she would have inherited from the other stuff when we connected the fragments, right? But yeah, anyways, we're gonna wrap that up. Nice informational episode. Got a little bit of conflict there, but next time we're gonna be switching gears again. It's really cool that if it keeps up with this pattern for a bit, you get some of the club member stuff, and then not to get some Akasaka Oishi stuff. I love that too. Maybe some Nimi stuff in the future. Nimi the Mimi. But for now, we're gonna end this episode. Another short one, but like I said, I'm a Hanyuer. I'm just following the flow of the river until we need to pop off in like the last couple episodes or something. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time with some more Matsuribayashi.